2018 was an incredible year for gaming. We had Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, AC Odyssey, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Smash Brothers, the list goes on. And of course, we were still all somehow playing Fortnite, like at the same time. Now with all that said, in video games and in real life, with the good comes the bad, and with the bad comes the ugly. And with the ugly, sometimes comes the real ugly. I'm talking about you, No Man's Sky. So today, the countdown is here with our list of 5 games that broke our heart in 2018. But before we get this list started, make sure to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, and click that little bell. It notifies you when we upload a new one. It's super helpful and it lets us keep making videos. Number 5, Metal Gear Survive. Oh boy, I bet you forgot about this, huh? You repressed this memory. This game barely even had a chance to stand up to any of the previous games as fans were ready to hate it from the get-go. This was the first Metal Gear ever that didn't involve video game demigod, Lord and Savior Hideo Kojima. Kojima created and was involved in the Metal Gear series for almost 30 years. But after his departure, Konami still wasn't ready to give up the cash cow. On top of that, the previous release in the mega hit franchise, Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain, was absolutely loved by critics and longtime fans alike. Seriously, if you haven't played it, go play it right now. But even with all the drama aside, Metal Gear Survive still managed to seem promising. In the game, players were thrown into Dite, an apocalyptic Earth plagued with zombies and toxic dust. From there, it's a scavenge fest, hence the name Metal Gear Survive. Gather up food, water, and weapons to protect yourself from wanderers, or as normal people call them, zombies. Geez, can we stop trying to think of clever names for the exact same thing? They're zombies. Stop with the walkers, creepers, freakers, schmeekers, whatever. Just stop. And I'll admit, Metal Gear Survive had some cool aspects, and at times it kind of did feel like a thrilling survival game, but none of those pluses made up for the slew of minuses. This game was an exhaustingly repetitive, non-stop search for resources, and by the time you were able to actually enjoy the game, it was way too late. And with all that, the burning question of why even make this game still remains. The answer is money. While nothing has been confirmed regarding Metal Gear 6, we can't help but be kind of hesitant, especially after Survive and the lack of Kojima. Seriously, Konami, maybe just don't do it? For now, let's all just get excited about Kojima's next venture at his own studio, Kojima Productions, Death Stranding. It's certain to make us forget all about Metal Gear Survive and anything Konami tries to do with the series in the future. Number 4, Mario Tennis Aces. So yeah, I know, this one's gonna be a little controversial since it's involving the most well-known, obsessively loved video game character of all time. No, not Birdo. We're talking about the original mustachioed Italian plumber himself, Mario. But regardless of its main character and supporting characters, a tennis game in this day and age certainly had its work cut out for itself amongst all the amazing games that came out in 2018. But this is Nintendo we're talking about. No one could help themselves but to be initially excited for a new Mario Tennis game. Even the name is just a nostalgia trip, reminding me of all the endless hours I spent playing Wii Sports Tennis and the original Mario Tennis games on the older consoles. Remember the close calls of almost throwing your controller through your living room TV and nearly impaling yourself on the couch? That was so much fun. But alas, maybe it's our fault for having any expectations that Nintendo could reinvent a game that's been around since the 16th century. That's like hella old, dog. And don't get it twisted, the game isn't bad. It's engaging and it's fun, but ultimately it's just not much more than that. But even with tennis mechanics that at their core were certainly on point, the game was pretty bare bones and its adventure mode felt gimmicky and not challenging whatsoever. But for me and a lot of other people, the worst defense this game made was the price. Considering other Switch games like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are the same price as Mario Tennis Aces, it's hard not to question how this game would cost $60. But then again, this is Nintendo we're talking about. They're still charging $49.99 for 1-2 Switch on the eShop right now. Remember the game where you could milk a cow? For now, if we want more Mario action, there's always the newest Smash hit or Mario Odyssey on Switch. Hopefully we get to see something new and creative from Nintendo next year. Number 3, State of Decay 2. Okay, this one was personal. I am a sucker for zombies and a sucker for open world games. Sue me. So, of course, when you put those two together, it's bound to keep me occupied like a kid with an iPad in the backseat of a minivan, or anywhere, really. The original State of Decay was an Xbox Live Arcade release and I absolutely loved it, especially considering it was only $20 and it gave me the thrills of a $60 AAA title. Founded by a former Blizzard employee, Undead Labs, the studio behind the game, struck a multi-year, multi-title deal with Microsoft Studios after the surprising success of the original. Killing zombies, surviving, finding everything from homes to fire stations to warehouses to hold up in, making supply runs, building up a community, killing more zombies. Seriously, this was the type of game that 15-year-old me would have freaked out about if you told me it existed. The game was a grind that miraculously kept me wanting to give my community killer stats and keep them alive, happy, and safe. Ah, good old gory zombie fun. But that was the first game. Now it's time to go on to the disappointing sequel. I'll admit, the first few hours of the sequel were magic and I was flooded with all the feels from the original. The bad taste that this sequel left in my mouth did happen, albeit over time. The powerful effect of nostalgia sadly only lasted so long before the game turned into a repetitive grind that really brought nothing new to the State of Decay series. It felt as if Undead Labs just released a new survival map for the original game or something. Although it was a disappointment, this sequel did still lead to Microsoft Studios fully acquiring Undead Labs. So hopefully with that Microsoft money, that'll lead to a better State of Decay 3, which has already been confirmed. But you gotta think, with all that money and glory that they raked in from the first game, why half-ass the sequel? Number 2, Sea of Thieves. In what some say is the No Man's Sky of this year, ouch, or should I say yar, Sea of Thieves was bound to make this list. When it comes to major gaming disappointments, it's all about the initial hype, and Sea of Thieves was beaming with it from the beginning. Seriously, remember that first E3 trailer? Everyone freaked out. But once the game actually came out, a major complaint among fans was the game's price, and it's kinda hard to disagree. Granted, the game had a ton of magic and mystery when you first journeyed into the open waters. Gorgeous sunsets and the terrifying yet beautiful vastness of the ocean was definitely a feast for the eyes. Even when describing the game, you're hit with a wave of bountiful excitement at the potential of an open-world seafaring pirate adventure. I mean, who doesn't want to be a pirate, minus all the scurvy and early death? But still, look at this guy with an eye patch, look at that beard, look at this parrot. Sadly, once you swim past all that, the game's fun solely relied on playing with your friends. And even if you're lucky enough to have friends that aren't just your hands with faces drawn on them, sailing the endless abyss, unfortunately, winds up a mediocre grind at best. Sad to say, a pirate's life just ain't for me, or the thousands of other people who bought this game and didn't like it apparently. Dishonorable mentions. First, Vamper. I'll admit it, this action RPG about a doctor turned vampire who now had to struggle between his Hippocratic Oath and the new blood addiction was pretty intriguing. I had hopes that this was going to be like a gothic LA noir with more blood, but it wasn't. The combat system was more dated than the garlic that has somehow managed to grow 7 more garlics in my pantry. Next, A Way Out, or Prison Break the game as I call it. It's the story of 2 convicted prisoners who must break out of prison and stay on the run from authorities. The game was specifically designed for split-screen multiplayer co-op, which basically means that you have to play with another person at all times, which is pretty shackling. While the game wasn't that bad, it wasn't all that good either, and ultimately a letdown when it came to the lackluster story and overall weak gameplay. Also, like, having to play with another real person is cool and all when they're really smart and intelligent, but when you're playing with your brother who's basically a real-life version of Jimmy from Grand Theft Auto 5, it's not that fun. A Way Out was a great experiment that just didn't quite live up to its full co-op potential. Lastly, we have Jurassic World Evolution, a business simulation game with a reptilian twist. The potential alone that this game had was mind-blowing to think about. Who wouldn't want to run Jurassic Park? Except for anyone who could have maybe seen the potential impending disaster or not afford the sky-high insurance rates that the park was bound to have. Regardless, Jurassic World Evolution is similar to any other business sim. You are tasked with managing an enormous park full of flesh-hungry dinosaurs and are trying to build a zoo across 5 tropical islands. Unfortunately, the game fell flat on all sides. Yes, the dinosaurs and scenery all look great, but that's to be expected in this day and age. After an initial burst of fresh excitement, the game quickly turned tedious and the no hand-holding sandbox experience we loved from our favorite business sims of yesteryear were nowhere to be found. Like many video games based on films, nostalgia can only take you so far. Seriously though, how do you mess up a zoo tycoon when you have the Jurassic license? Come on! Number 1, Fallout 76. Oh boy, or Pip-Boy, I should say. Regardless, you probably saw this coming, but Fallout 76 has inevitably secured the top spot on this list of disappointing games in 2018. In what began as an awesome cryptic message from Bethesda on their livestream, this next installment in the beloved Fallout series has not lived up to any of the previous games. Unlike the games before, Fallout 76 is not a single-player open-world epic RPG, but purely an online multiplayer experience. What? Yes, you can play the game like any single-player game, roaming around like a lone wolf, but it's hard to enjoy if you're not going to be playing it with all your friends. What made the previous Fallout games amazing is because of the immersive story and the world that surrounds you. That sadly feels all but completely stripped out of this game. So, game devs out there, pay attention. We know you're seeing how popular multiplayer games are right now and are looking to cash in on that, but just so you know, it's okay to give us some story along with it. I mean, this is a Fallout game. Where the hell are the NPCs? No populated settlements to stumble upon, no narratives, all areas that felt like no-brainers to add to this multiplayer experience. After launch, players were so desperate for a genuine Fallout experience that they began to act like NPCs from the other games to aid random strangers and help fellow newbies on their journey, which, dare I say, is insanely nice, especially for an online shooting community. In the end, considering how many hours, probably millions, that I've spent playing the previous Fallout games, Fallout 76 makes me so sad. While yeah, it probably didn't deserve the immediate hate fest it received, it still makes an easy #1 on our list. So there you have it, our countdown of the 5 games that broke our hearts in 2018. But don't be sad, there were so many great games to make up for it. That's all. Thanks for watching Arcade Cloud. If you like what you saw, please be sure to like and subscribe, and click that little bell so you can find out when our next video goes up. In the meantime, you can go check out these other Arcade Cloud videos ready for you to view. Thanks everyone, see you next time.